Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing very well. Welcome to yet another edition of our daily series topic of the day. So in today's video, we shall be discussing about the I2U2 summit. Now first of all, what does this word I2U2 means? It stands for India, Israel, then we have the United Arab Emirates, and then we have the United States of America. Hence the name I2U2. So recently on the 14th of July, the first ever I2U2 Leaders Summit was held virtually, which was attended by our Prime Minister Modi, the Prime Minister of Israel, with the President of UAE and the President of United States of America. Now, this topic is very important from GS to international relations, especially from the topic of groupings and agreements. Now, this group was first conceptualized during the meeting of foreign ministers of these four countries that was held last year on the 18th of October. As per a press release by our Ministry of External Affairs, the I2U2 is aimed to encourage joint investment in 6 mutually identified areas that include food security, clean energy, we have water, transportation, then we have space and health. Discussion was focused on innovative ways to ensure longer term, more diversified food production and food delivery systems that can better manage the global food shocks. The group also welcomed India's interest in joining the United States, UAE, and Israel in their Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate Initiative, that is AIM for Climate. So, some of the initiatives were also discussed. For example, UAE will invest in a $2 billion program to develop a series of integrated food parks across India. So, here we are talking about food parks. Now, this food park aims to establish a direct linkage between a farm to processing unit and further to consumer market. So, these food parks will incorporate state of the art, climate smart technologies to reduce food waste and spoilage, conserve fresh water, and also to employ renewable source of energy. As we know, food security has become very important nowadays as the world witnessed food crisis and other cascading effects due to the Ukraine-Russia war. And we know that India is one of the major producers of food in the world. Further on, the concept of food parks will also lead to increase in the income of the farmers. I2U2 will also invest in a hybrid renewable energy project in Gujarat. So it will set up a 300 megawatt renewable energy project in Gujarat. Now let us discuss about the I2U2 group. So this group was first conceptualized in October 2021. That was during a meeting of the foreign ministers of these four countries that happened in Israel. And at that time, this group was called the International Forum for Economic Cooperation. Now, this was formed following the Abraham Accords between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Now, when we talk about the Abraham Accords, it was the first Arab-Israeli peace deal that happened in 26 years, and it was signed in the White House on 15 September 2020 by UAE, Bahrain, and Israel, and it was mediated by the then President of United States of America, that is Donald Trump. Now, the name Abraham has a symbolic significance. That is, it believes in one God. For example, in Judaism, we have Yahweh. For Christianity, we have Jesus. In Muslims, we follow Allah. So, thereby, this term here has a symbolic meaning. As Israel has witnessed years of aggression from the Arab world, we have seen 4 major wars between the Arab world and Israel that happened in the year 1948. Further, in 1956, that was the Suez Canal conflict. Then we had the famous Six-Day War of 1967, in which Israelis defeated the Arab countries. In 1973, again, we had the Yom Kippur War. So, as a result of these wars, there were some agreements and accords that were signed. For example, in 1978, we had the Camp David Accords, in which Egypt gave recognition to Israel in the year 1974. And as a result of this, Israel returned the Sinai Peninsula that was taken during the Six-Day War of 1967. Another one was the Oslo Accords, in which the Palestinian Liberation Organization recognized Israel and allowed to form a Palestinian Authority in West Bank and Gaza Strip. Now again, the West Bank and Gaza Strip region were taken by Israel during the Six-Day War. Further on, in the year 1994, we had the Washington Declaration, which led to Jordan recognizing Israel. And recent one was the Abraham Accords of 2020. Now, the I2U2 also stands for the West Asian Quad. So, Ahmed Albana, who is the ambassador to India from the United Arab Emirates, called this grouping as the West Asian Quad for the first time. So as we know, West Asia is the term that comprises of the Middle East. Now the aim of the grouping is to discuss common areas of mutual interest and to strengthen the economic partnership in trade and investment in our respective regions and beyond. There are 6 areas of cooperation, that is water, energy, transportation, space, health and food security. And this grouping aims to encourage the joint investments in these particular areas. Now, let us discuss some of the criticisms related to this grouping. First of all, it has been called the West Asian Quad, as we have already discussed by some commentators. It has been criticized for having USA's hidden agenda to contain Iran in the geopolitics of West Asia. Now, as we know that Iran and USA have tensions along the Iran's nuclear policy. Further on, India never got entangled in the intra-regional issues in West Asia or Middle East. Therefore, critics want India to refrain from being part of such an alliance. Now, if we talk about the significance of this grouping, first of all, it will provide better engagement with the Middle Eastern countries, and also it will give an opportunity for India for growing engagement with other countries in the West Asia, including Israel. It also signifies Israel's increasing integration into this region, that is through the Abraham Accords of 2020. Further on, it will also give a boost to India's bilateral strategic ties with each of these 3 countries. Now, the investment proposed in recent summit will help maximize crop yields, and therefore it will help to tackle food insecurity in South Asia and also in the Middle East. Also, such projects can make India global hub for alternate supply chains in the renewable energy sector. And it's also set to become one of the highest consumer markets when India becomes the most populous country in the year 2023. So this was a little bit about the I2U2 summit. Now let us take up one practice question on this topic. So which of the following countries are member of the I2U2 initiative? Israel, Japan, India and China. You can select the correct answers using the codes given below, and you can write your answers in the comment section. So as we know, the correct answer is 1 and 3, that is Israel and India are part of the I2U2 grouping. Israel, India with UAE and the USA forms the I2U2. Therefore, the correct answer is option A only. And with this, we call it a wrap of today's edition of Topic of the Day. I hope you liked the video. I will see you with some other topic tomorrow. Till then, take care and do stay tuned.